Hello and welcome student to my channel. Today we will be learning English Kumar Bharati Standard 10, the continuing, that is the second part of Unit 2, 2.3, chapter Connecting the Dots. Connecting the Dots by Steve Jobs. In the first part of the video, we have already learned about the first story from the life of Steve Jobs in his address to the students at the Stanford University. In the second part of the video, we are going to continue learn about the second story from the life of Steve Jobs, that is love and loss, and the third story of his experience of being close to death. So let's continue with the second story, love and loss. My second story is about love and loss. I found what I love to do early in life was Steve Wozniak, and I started Apple when I was 20. In 10 years, Apple had grown from just the two of us in a garage into a $2 billion company. And then I got fired. It was devastating, but something slowly began to dawn on me. I still loved what I did, and so I decided to start over. So in this experience, in the second story of love and loss, Steve Jobs, he says that he started the Apple company with his co-founder, that is Steve Wozniak, when he was just 20. Now when they started the Apple company, it was only in a small garage and only two of them working here. But he says that later on it extended and it valued in billions. But later on, after the 10 years, he was fired. He was being removed from his own company because there were a lot of differences with the co-founders. Now this was a devastating for him. That means it caused a severe shock to Steve Jobs. But everything began to become very clear to him. Very slowly and steadily, he understood and he realized that even after getting the setback, he still loved what he did, and that there was no worries about anything. And so instead of giving up the hope after getting a severe setback, he decided to start over. He realized that he had the liberty to let his imagination and the innovation take over. The heaviness of being successful was replaced by the lightness of being a beginner again. It freed me to enter one of the most creative periods of my life. So as it is said, more success brings more responsibility. But now, Steve Jobs was not holding any responsibility because at the age of 30, he was being fired from his own company. Now because he was being fired at the age of 30, he had no responsibility, he had no burdens. So the heaviness was being replaced by the lightness of being a beginner again. Now he got a fresh start. He had to start from a scratch. So after he was being fired, the next 5 years that followed turned out to be one of the most creative period of his life. He no more carried the burden of being the executive of Apple. Since he was just a beginner with any responsibility, it gave him an opportunity to be free. Now he gradually realized to do the things he loved the most. During the next 5 years, he started his own company called Next and another animation company called as Pixar. He fell in love with an amazing woman called Lauren and who became his wife in future. Pixar is now the world's most successful animation studio. Apple bought Next. I returned to Apple, and the technology we developed at Next is at the heart of Apple's current renaissance. And Lauren and I have a wonderful family together. So Pixar was started by Steve Jobs and it was working as a successful animation studio. But Apple was not being successful anyway. And Apple bought Next, and also Apple hired Steve Jobs again. When Next was bought by Apple, he was able to use the technology what he has developed at Next to come up with a revolutionary product for Apple. Apple got renaissance, that means Apple got a rebirth or a revival, because all the technology what Jobs had made for Next, he had used all into Apple. Later on, Lauren and he made a wonderful family together. Sometimes life hits you in the head with a brick. Don't lose faith. The only way to do great work is to love what you do. If you haven't found it yet, keep looking. Don't settle. So, the idiom used here is life hits you in the head with a brick. It means life gives a great shock suddenly. But whatever the circumstances are, do not give up, but keep on doing what you love to do. He further says to the students, don't settle. Don't settle means don't be happy with something less when you can have more. Keep on trying to get the best in your life. So, from the second story about love and loss, from this story, he tells the student that we may encounter failure in our life, but that does not mean that we should give up. The only way to achieve success is by continuing to do what you love to do. Do not get discouraged. And if we have found what we love, we should keep on loving for it, not to settle down for anything less when you can achieve the best in your life. So, this was the end of the second story about love and loss. The third story of Steve Jobs is about his experience of being close to death. My third story is about death. About a year ago, I was diagnosed with cancer. My doctor advised me to go home and get my affairs in order, which is doctor's code for prepare to die. I lived with the diagnosis all day. So in the year 2004, Steve Jobs was diagnosed with cancer. That is a year before he delivered the address at the Stanford University. But in the year 2005, when he gave the address to the student, he was doing well. The doctor advised him to take care of all the affairs. That is, the doctor advised him to take care of all the legal and all the financial transaction, which was a doctor's code to Steve Jobs to tell him to get prepared to die. But still he lived with all the diagnosis. Later that evening, I had a biopsy. It turned out to be a very rare form of pancreatic cancer that is curable with surgery. I had a surgery and I'm fine now. This was the closest I have been to facing death, and I hope it's the closest I get for a few more decades. Having lived through it, I can now say this to you. Your time is limited. Don't waste it living someone else's life. On being diagnosed with a cancer, Jobs was advised by the doctor to be prepared for death. But he still lived the entire day with all the diagnosis. Later on, he underwent a biopsy. Biopsy is a procedure to remove a piece of tissue taken from a body in order to examine it more closely. And it turned out to be a very rare form of tumor in pancreas. To have a cure of this, he was advised a surgery, as the tumor was curable only with a surgery. He underwent a surgery, and after the surgery, he is fine now. He says that this experience in his life was the closest that he had come to facing death, and this experience had taught him that spending one's life doing something that he or she didn't like was a waste, a complete waste of life. So he advises the student that life is too short. So keep doing what you like to do. Don't be trapped by dogma, which is living with the results of other people's thinking. Don't let the noise of others' opinion drown out your own inner voice. And most important, have the courage to follow your own heart and intuition. They somehow already know what you truly want to become. He further advises the students not to get suppressed or get bound by the imposed rules and belief of others, but to have the courage and to follow your own heart. He further says that we must not live with the result of other people's thinking. He firmly says to the students that others' voice must not drown our own inner voice. Finally, he ends by saying that each of them must have a courage to follow our own heart and our intuition. When I was young, there was an amazing publication called The Whole Earth's Catalog. In the final issue, on the back cover, They put a photograph of an early morning country road. Beneath it were the words, "Stay hungry, stay foolish." This was their farewell message as they signed off. I have always wished that for myself. And now, as you graduate to begin anew, I wish that for you. Stay hungry, stay foolish. In the concluding part of a speech, he ends his address with a quote that he reads in the last edition of a publication called The Whole Earth Catalogue, which says, "Stay hungry, stay foolish." He says that he always wanted the hunger in him, the hunger to achieve the greater height, and the foolishness to follow his heart. And since the students are going to start their lives afresh, he wished the same for them as well. Steve Jobs' closing address to the graduate student is, "Stay hungry, stay foolish." Through this message, he wants to convince the students to pursue the thirst, the hunger for knowledge, and never stop feeling that they know all. Only then they will achieve the success in their life. You're hungry, it means look out for something new. And foolish means keep learning new things. Don't consider yourself as a master, because we have much to learn in our life. So, this is the end of the chapter, Connecting the Dots. Thank you, students.